played against them in a real game. We scrimmaged them actually when I was at Clemson as an assistant coach. That was Steph Curry's freshman year. I think he had like 26 points against us in the scrimmage. But Coach McKillop's just done a terrific job there with that program. And they really have a versatile, well-rounded team this year that's obviously scoring the basketball at a terrific rate. They're, I think, in the top 3 in the country in points per game. Got a lot of guys that can shoot the ball from outside at a high rate. Seems like we've run into that a lot this season, but they shoot it as well as anybody we've played.
I think, going off of that, I think this is the 3rd team already that you've played that's been either top 5 in the nation scoring or hits from 3 from outside. Is there something? Does that drive some of your defensive strategy because there are so many teams now that seem to live and die by the outside? Does it take over part of what you work on in practice? Well,
it just means you have to have an added urgency to get a hand up on three-point shooters. And, because of the way we play, we've got to scramble and rotate and fly around and try to get our hand up on guys. It's not always going to be perfect, but we just got to keep playing, as we tell our guys. And Davidson's a team that, they again can shoot the ball from so many different spots. It's not necessarily just about trying to take 1 or 2 guys away. They have a lot of guys that can make you pay, and so we just have to be on edge on the defensive end and alert and ready to have a hand up at all times.
Will you go back to what you might have done against Northern Iowa or Belmont and just try to reiterate the lessons from those practices, or this completely?
We'll talk a little bit about what we needed to do against some of the good three-point shooting teams that we've played in the past so far this year. Some of those games we did a good job of following the plan. Other games, some guys got some more open shots than we wanted them to. But Davidson's different. They're not the exact same as a Northern Iowa or a Belmont. There are some similarities. I think, obviously the reason you play the non-conference schedule that you play is to prepare you and give you as close a look as possible to what you might see in the league.
When you don't play a team like this and you haven't played them in conference, does it make a difference in preparation for them since you haven't really seen them and what they do?
Well, no. I mean, we play teams in the non-conference all the time that we hadn't played before, but you just have less familiarity with them, and they have less familiarity with you. But we'll watch a lot of tape, and we'll show our guys some tape and make sure our guys understand the key components of what they do.
Along those lines, when you play a guy like John Sevier, who you saw last year, you kind of know what to expect this year a little bit better than just watching him on film. So what kind of a substitute is it watching tape versus actually having played against this guy a season before?
Well, I think that's more of a issue, not negative issue, but I think it's more of an issue for players than coaches, because let's be honest, coaches watch more tape. By tomorrow we will have watched 6-8 of Davidson's games, and we'll have a pretty good feel for what they do. But that doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be able to defend them really well. It's a matter of conveying the key points to the players and keeping it relatively simple. I think sometimes as coaches, it's a mistake to try to get too complicated in what you need to do on offense or on defense.
Coach, I know you guys approach every game the same, regardless of non-conference, conference, what have you. But is there a different feel once you enter conference play? I don't want to say more seriousness, but that it might matter a little bit more in terms of getting to that goal of the conference championship?
I think there is for everyone. I think for everyone, once you get into league play, certainly there's an added level of intensity. The possessions seem to mean more. But, then again, with the teams we played in non-conference those possessions seem to mean a great deal as well. So, Davidson's a really good team coming in here. I'm sure they have very, very lofty aspirations as we do with how this conference race is going to turn out. It's really, really early, but I think for us, we just got to play VCU basketball the best we can and see how things work out from there. Control the things we can control.
With their tradition combined with how they're doing this season, how is that kind of up level of the conference as a whole that you've noticed, if at all?
Oh yeah, I think when you add a high quality program with a great tradition like Davidson and one of the most respected head coaches in the country, I think that that makes your league better, and it makes the status of your league better. So, I think certainly through however many games Davidson's played or different teams in our league have played, they're one of the best teams in our league based on what they've done. Watching them against UVA, they probably did a better job than anyone all year long putting the ball in the basket against UVA, which we all know is easier said than done.
You can look back to when you first joined the A-10. What kind of a learning curve is Davidson going to go through this year in terms of the step up in play from every team that they face?
Yeah, I think that's a little overrated, to be honest. I think if you have a good team and some guys that understand your system and what you want to do, then basketball's basketball. They have been really, really dominant in the Southern Conference over the years, and I think they maybe lost one game all of last year in the regular season. Now, they're coming to the Atlantic 10, similar to us a couple years ago, making the move. But they have good players, and they've got a great coach and great system. So, I think the adjustment or learning curve, as you mentioned, is both ways because, just like us a couple years ago, they need to learn a new league, but the new league needs to learn them too. And sometimes that adjustment's just as heavy.
What stands out when you watch Jack Gibbs?
Oh, Jack Gibbs is a terrific player. He very, very heady. He plays the game the right way, makes all the right reads, very, very aggressive, but at the same time under control. And, he's become a phenomenal shooter. So he'll make you pay if you leave him open, and he'll make you pay if you foul him. I believe he's leading the league in free throw percentage. So he's great.
Coach McKillop and Davidson had their run to the Elite Eight. You've been to the Final Four. Both of you have stayed when you had opportunities to go elsewhere. I wonder if that's the only similarity between the way you guys, view your coaching experience and run your programs, or if you see more similarities between you and Coach McKillop than that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, similarities and contrast is more for you guys in the media. I think that Coach McKillop, as I mentioned, is one of the most respected basketball coaches in the country. He's been winning basketball games for a long, long time. I've got a ton of respect for him. I think hopefully what we have in common with their program is, hopefully we play hard like they do. We play for each other, hopefully, the way that they do. I've always been impressed with their togetherness as a group, and that's all a reflection on him as a head coach.
Coach, is there any benefit in having a common opponent? They just played Virginia. You guys played Virginia. As you put the preparation and game plan together, is there any benefit to that?
Well, it should get our players' attention. It would be a benefit. The way that they, again, were able to attack Virginia and put the ball in the basket against Virginia, that would be the biggest thing.
With how young you guys are, I know coaches you never reach your ceiling, I guess. But are you happy with the success you guys have had, and do you feel there's still a long way to go before you reach that ceiling based on how young you guys are?
Yeah, we still have a long way to go. I mean, we just got to keep getting better. You know, I think we've made some strides, made some progress since November. It's early January now. So in terms of number of games and in terms of the calendar, we're about at the midway point of the regular season. I think, you know, if we can continue improving, particularly on the defensive end, then, you know, hopefully we can do some good, really good things for the rest of January and for the rest of conference play. But you know, we're playing great teams, so we've got to be ready to take away the things that they do well.
Have you ever been part of a team that hasn't trailed at all in 5 straight games? I don't even know if that's something that's conscious when you guys are playing. But
Yeah, I didn't even know that until I read that this morning. So it's funny because, you know, as a coach, you don't really look at it that way. And it's funny, I had to tell our guys at halftime, I think where were we up 7 halftime yesterday, and our guys were in the locker room. You know, if you looked at them, you would have thought we were down 15. I said, guys, we're up 7 points. So what would make you feel good being, you know? But I don't know. I mean, I was an assistant coach on some really good teams, so we probably had some stretches of games. When I was at Clemson, we won 17 games in a row one time. But, you know, again, we got to keep getting better. There's a lot of things on the defensive end that I think we can continue improving. I was really pleased with the way our guys were taking care of the basketball and sharing the basketball. Yesterday, we were not as crisp with that. But, you know, hopefully we can chalk that up to, you know, a little bit of jitters being in the first conference game. And, you know, the one thing I really appreciate about our guys is that it is important to them, and they, you know, they do feel a level of, hey, we want to do well and we want to put our best foot forward, but you still have to have what we call approach goals, which is going after it and, you know, not playing not to make a mistake.
do you find that there's a balance that you have to strike as a staff between, like you said, not getting down on yourself when you're actually up 7 points, and understanding that you need to, there's still work that has to be done. Do you straddle that balance sometimes?
No question, all the time. You know, I think our staff does a good job with that, but you know, let's face it, when you're 18 to 22 years old, sometimes you pre-plan the game. You determine in your mind the way that the game is going to go for you individually or for your team. And then the other team's plan is pretty different than yours. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out the way that you planned for the first 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And it's important to stick with the process of how do we best approach this game to give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful. And so helping the guys understand that throughout the game, during the game, is a very important part of our job as a coaching staff.
Were you encouraged by the way the team responded after Fordham probably got their plan to go the way they wanted the first couple of minutes of the second half and close for one, so this is going to get took off at that point?
Yeah, I think we had a stretch where we got quite a few defensive stops in a row. And, I mean, that's the goal on defense, is to stop the other team. You know, there's a few different ways you can do that. We had a lot of steals yesterday, but to be honest, I mean, a lot is made of our style of play, but that's the steals or forcing turnovers is secondary to stopping the other team from scoring. And if we're able to do that 3, 4, 5, 6, even more times in a row, that's when we can go on a run, hopefully if we're scoring in there. And that's what we were able to do at the time that you're mentioning. So you know, we just need 5 guys in the game that are on the same page in terms of what we need to do to stop the other team. Not having Jordan out there yesterday, I think, affected us a little bit on defense. If you want to know his status, it's day to day. You know, we're hopeful that he'll be able to play later this week. But you know, again, whoever we have out there, we need 5 guys on the same page to get a stop.